Hello and welcome to another Blender Cookie tutorial. I am David Ward and I'm going to be showing you a few fairly advanced rigging techniques today. Okay. As you can see here, I've modeled a little cycloptic alien here, and we're going to rig him up with some facial rigs, controls that are a little more advanced than you might be used to. Okay, so without further ado, let's pop into the front view by pushing 1 on the numpad and 5 to go into orthographic view. And I'm going to go ahead and stick my 3D cursor right here at the bottom of the model. Let's just put it right there because we're gonna add a short skeleton to him. So it doesn't have a body, so we'll just have like a little bit of a chest, a neck, head, eye stalk, eyeball, a few lip things. Anyways, so let's go add an armature and go into tab into edit mode. Let's grab the tip of it, bring it way up here, and you know what? Let's tab back out. Let's go to the editing buttons, F9 on your keypad, and turn on X-ray. So now you can see it through the model. So it's a lot easier to work with this way. Let's go back to side view. Side view is 3 on your numpad, by the way. Okay, tab back into edit mode. Grab the bone here. We're going to W, subdivide multi, and let's see how many bones do we need. We need 1 for the eye, 1 for the stalk, so that's 2, 3, 4, and 5 total bones. So we need to cut it 4 times. So there we go. Now just grab the corner of each one, drag it to where it needs to go. Okay, so now we got our chest bone, which is going to be right here, our neck bone, head bone, eye stalk, and eyeball holder. That's not going to be the eyeball. Grab, there we go. Back, go into pose mode. Okay, let's go ahead and back in edit mode. Let's start naming them because that's very important. It's very important to name your bones. We'll call this chest. This one we will call neck, head, and let's call this one stalk, and this one eyeball holder. So we're going to create another one that's going to be attached to that. Okay, now I'm going to work with B bones here because we're going to need to add flexible segments to some of these, like the neck, for example. Go down here where it says armature bones, segments, SEGM, short for segments. It's just got 1 now, so we want to add 2. As you can see, it's changing. And the viewport there, we got 2, 3, and we'll give it 4. 4 is a good round number to give small bones like this. 2, 3, 4 for the stalk, so it can be bended easily. And I'm going to go ahead and move this a little bit so that follows more the curve of the stalk. There we go. So now, anywhere I move the head, the segments in the neck are going to help it deform more properly, as well as the segments on the eyeball stalk. There we go. I'm rotating by pressing R. Hit it once, kind of goes in whatever fashion you happen to be viewing it in on the viewport. If you tap it twice, it's going to go point pretty much at your mouse, wherever you're going. Maybe not pointing at your mouse, but rotates as you move, whatever. Okay, that's good. Alright, back into edit mode of the armature here. Actually, let's back out. I grab my eyeball, and I'm going to go into the wireframe view by pressing Z. And now I want to Shift S, and that's going to snap the cursor to the selection. And the eyeball is a selection, so the cursor is now centered on the eyeball. Okay, now I can go back to the armature, tab into edit mode. I'm going to add another bone, and it's going to center the bottom of it right there in the center of the eyeball, which is exactly what I want. But the end of it's pointing up. I don't want that. So I'm going to go Shift S, and I'm going to go Selection to Cursor, and then drag it out like that by grabbing the green gizmo handle right there. So this is the eyeball bone. And let's name it such eyeball. Good. Okay. And now let's parent it to the eye controller, Control P, and we want to keep the offset. Okay. So now anywhere that the eyeball holder goes, the eyeball will follow. So let's go ahead and grab the eyeball itself. Shift, click on the eyeball bone, Control P, make parent to the bone. We don't want to make it to the armature or object, just to the bone. Now, anywhere that bone rotates, the eyeball will follow. Okay. Now let's give the eyeball something to look at. So we got the cursor where we want it. Go ahead and add another bone. This time grab it, just move the whole thing out there. Call this look at. Okay, so now back into solid view. Grab the look at first. Shift, grab that, the eyeball. Shift I. I'm gonna add a IK constraint, and it kind of screws things up a little bit. It looks like, but you fix that by giving the chain length 1, and everything pops back. So now, anywhere you move this look at, that eyeball bone is going to follow it. Awesome. Okay. Now let's start getting a little more into the advanced area. Now, going to put the 3D cursor right there. Should be centered up still yet? Yes. Okay, side view, add a bone. Scale it down. Scale it way down. Right there, that's good. Okay. Going to Shift D, duplicate it down to the bottom, and to the inner edge, and back here, and one there. Okay, now we need to move them. Zoom in a little bit, easier to grab them that way. Move them over to the corners of the mouth. Grab these, move them over till they're lined up with the mesh of the lips. Good. Right there. Okay. Alright, looking good. Let's go ahead and name these now. Naming conventions are always a little dynamic. I mean, they can change. You can name them whatever you want. And sometimes it's faster to just use acronyms. So that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be top. So I'm going to say T, lip, L, and that's good. Top lip. That'll be fine. And we'll call this one B, L. You know what? Let's name it L, B. So it's lip bottom, lip top. That way, in our list, they'll be next to each other instead of way across the alphabet. Okay, that needs to be L, T, lip top. Okay. This one's going to be lip top dot L, so it's going to be lip top left. And let's grab that bottom one. There we go. Lip bottom LB dot L. Okay. Now grab that corner LT lip top corner LTC dot L. Okay. And lip bottom corner dot L. All right. Now we got our little controllers. These are going to be what control the shape of the mouth. After we get everything rigged up, you will see. Okay. Now back into edit mode, and I'm going to Shift S and cursor to selection. I'm going to add a bone. Okay. Grab this. Shift S, cursor to selection, grab the top of that one, Shift S, selection to cursor, grab that, Alt S, make them skinnier, scale them down. Okay, let's add another, actually, you know what, let's just grab the tip of that, is that the wrong one? Okay, and extrude them out, there we go, grab this guy, Shift S, cursor to selection, grab the end of him, Shift S, selection to cursor. So now we basically we're connecting the dots basically. Okay, let's do the same thing on the top. Shift S, cursor to selection, add a bone, grab them, scale them down some. There we go. Alt S makes them skinnier. Shift S on that, cursor selection, grab the end of them, Shift S, selection to cursor. Good. And let's go ahead and extrude out. Grab this, Shift S, cursor to selection, and grab this, Shift S, selection to cursor. Okay. Now these have to be lined up just right for this to work. I will show you what this is momentarily. Grab all these bones. We don't want the center ones. We just want the ones on the side. Because what we're going to do is clone them over, duplicate them, and we want to do a perfectly even symmetrically on the other side. So we got our 3D cursor still in the center. So let's click right here and change the pivot to go around the 3D cursor. So now if you rotate it, it's right there on that cursor. Okay. So what I want to do, Shift D, duplicates. So now we got duplicates right there. See them? And since it's rotating around the 3D cursor right there in the middle, we'll go Scale, X, S, X, S is scale, X on the X-axis. And we're going to hit -1 over on our keypad, our numpad, and just click in. And it creates a mirror because it makes it -1, which is -1.0100%. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear out the pivot around that because we don't need it anymore. Okay, now everything's named still yet, but it's like LB lip bottom left 01. We don't want that. We want lip bottom right. So we go flip left and right names, and it makes all those L.001 to an R. Okay. So this is going smoothly, but these guys need to, even though they're a mirror image, it still needs to follow a straight line from this corner over to that corner. Same thing on the bottom. So what we're got to do, W, and we're going to switch their direction. So there we go. So now, going to pose mode, they're rotating on their left, like they should be. And I need to parent these to that, and go ahead and connect it. Okay, same thing down here, Control P, connected. Okay, so now, that's the whole bottom lip, that's the whole top lip. Everything looks good. What we need to do now is add some segments to these lip bones here. So we'll just go 1, 2, 3, and let's go 4. Same as the other bones. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now they're all kind of rotated weirdly. Is that a word, weirdly? I don't know. Strangely. There we go. And just grab all of them. And Control N. We're going to recalculate their roll angles. And we're going to clear the roll. And it makes them all the same. Okay. So now we're going to set up some magical things. First off, I need to parent those to those bones. And they don't need to be connected. Keep the offset. Keep the offset. Okay, so now, in order to make these fluid and stretchy, like, excuse me, throat's getting a little dry, we need to have them stretch. So we're going to grab the controller bone there, grab the lip bone, and we're going to go Control-Alt-C, and go stretch to. So now, anywhere you move that guy, this bone is going to stretch to it, as you can see. Now that works great. Throws off everything else. But that's fine, because we're going to do the same thing for those. Stretch to. Grab that one. Stretch to. That one. Stretch to. And same thing on the bottom. Grab the controller bone first. Stretch 2. Stretch 2. Stretch 2. And stretch 2. Now, when we move our controller bones, it's nice and fluid. Look at that. Alright. You really notice a difference once we get everything skinned. Okay. Now, I'm going to do the same thing to the eyelid because we want it to be nice and fluid as well. So what I'm going to do, instead of doing the same thing I did with the mouth, I'm just going to save myself some work and just Shift D, just duplicate the bones of the mouth up to the top. And just edit it accordingly. There we go. Oops. Just like that. Okay, just need that. These guys don't need that. Corner. And there. And they need to come in. So let's go here. And one thing you can do when you're working with symmetrical objects is over here on the editing options, turn on X-axis mirror, and so wherever I move these, it's going to move those too. So there we go. Let's get that lined up, and let's go ahead and grab these since these are a little different. They didn't quite follow. But that's okay, because we can go ahead and line them up like so. Okay. Let's go ahead and take off all of these constraints on these guys, because we're going to have to redo them. Because we're going to have to rename them. Once we rename them, they should work a little better. Okay. So let's go back in edit mode. And same naming convention. Except lip and lid both start with an L, so we'll say I. It's like E-T. I top. E-T. Ironic, yes. An alien, and we're using E-T on it. E-T.L. Grab the right bone here. There we go. E-T.R. You know what? I'm going to save myself some more work. I'm just going to get rid of these guys here. Just delete them. And we'll just duplicate like we did with the mouth. Escape. Be a lot easier that way. Did I delete something I shouldn't have? I must have. Oh, yes, I did. Control Z. You got to watch it sometimes. This X-axis mirror can be your friend or your enemy, as we just discovered. If you delete the left side, it's going to delete the right side too. So turn it off when you do this and delete. There you go. Okay, now let's grab these guys. So still named ET. Okay. And did I ever name these down here? I guess I didn't, did I? That's not good. So we'll use the same thing. It's going to be stretch lip top dot L. Same thing, just put an S in front of it. Stretch lip top inner. So put I dot L. Okay. This will be stretch lip bottom inner dot L and stretch lip bottom dot L. Okay. This guy stretch lip top inner dot R. So I didn't rename them before I flipped them, so now I have to go in and name them individually, which is very tedious. Okay, and this one was stretch lip bottom inner dot R and stretch lip top dot R. stretch lip bottom. Okay. Now then, okay, so this guy is going to be stretch I top dot L, and this is going to be stretch I top. Actually, escape out of there because I didn't put the inner part on this, which I need. Here we go. Now this is going to be this et stretch I top dot L. This one's stretch I bottom dot L, and stretch I bottom inner dot L. Okay, that one's renamed. That guy is I top dot L, I top corner dot L, and I bottom corner dot L. It retained its name from the other, from the lips, as you can see, so that helps remember what it is. I bottom dot L, and finally I bottom. Okay, so let's grab all these guys on the side, and let's do the same thing. Make sure our 3D cursor is in the center. Go to Z, push Z so we can go into wireframe view and center things up a little bit easier. Okay, so 3D cursor, Shift D, duplicate, SX -1. Okay, and go ahead and grab these guys, and actually grab all of them. Now we're going to armature, flip left and right names. Now just the stretchy guys. W, switch direction, and there we go. Now we need to parent them. Oops, go back in edit mode. Parent them. Connected. And there we go. Connected. Okay, there we go. But as you can see, they're all rotated very strangely. So let's grab all of them. And Control N. Clear the roll axis. And there we go. Okay, so now this is connected. Yes. Yes. Okay. Grab the controller, stretch, Control C, stretch 2. Same old story, same old song and dance as Steven Tyler sing from Aerosmith. Okay. And finally. Alright, so now we got the same thing going on for the eyelid as we have. So now we can have like angry eyelids if we need to, right? Or, you know, sad. Much more fluid expression with these, like this. Okay, so just clear out all those guys. And one more thing I want to show you before I apply the rig to the model is I once saw, well actually back when the Big Buck Bunny was being created, I saw the kind of the demo of the bunny model that Nathan Vegdahl was showing off, and he had sticky eyelids is what he called them. That's where you move the eyelid and it's the eyelid stuck to the surface of the eyeball, and I could not figure out how he did that. So I looked around and finally I figured out a way. I don't know if it's the way he did it, but I figured out a way to do it, and it's really not that hard. Just involves a couple of constraints, but it's no big deal. Let me show you. Let's go in here and okay, this bone looks about like I need it to. What I need to do is I need to tell these controller bones for the eyelid to not go any further than the surface of the eye. I mean, they can move around on it, but as far as moving away from it, they can't. So I have to put what's called a distance constraint on it. I think that's what it's called. Limit distance, yeah. Okay. So I need to grab each of these controllers and add a constraint, limit distance, and the target is going to be the eye. Is it eyeball? Eyeball. Because it's the right length. It goes from the center of the eye to the very edge of the eyeball. So it's the right length we need it to. So the target is going to be eyeball. There we go. Oh, yeah. You got to put armature in object. There we go. And then the bone is going to be eyeball. There we go. Okay. So now I can't move it anywhere except on the surface of the eyeball. If I try to move it, actually grab the medium point. If I try to move it out, it's not going to go out. It's just going to go back along the surface of the eyeball. So that's how you get the sticky eyelids to stay on the eyeball so you don't get some weird spaces in between them. So, just keep doing that with all of them. You can do it the same way you did the IK constraint or the stretch to. Just select the bone you're wanting to target first, and then the bone you're wanting to apply the modifier to. Control-Alt-C, limit distance. It's going to automatically fill in all the information you need it to. So grab that, distance, and all of the controls need that. Limit distance. Actually, you know what? Let me try this. I don't know if it'll work or not, but grab this guy first, and then let's grab multiple ones. Oops. And now let's hit limit distance. Oh, there you go. Nah, I just applied it to that very last one, so that's not what we want to do. So we gotta do it one at a time. There's no big deal, there's not that many of them. Okay. And one more. Okay. So now, that eyelid is not coming off of that eyeball. It's not gonna do it. And you'll notice that a lot more once we get that attached to the rig. One more thing before I attach that to the rig. A lot of times when an eyeball, actually all the time, when an eyeball moves, the eyelids follow along just real subtly. So I'm going to make this do that. And how I'm going to do that, I'm going to grab all these controllers, if I can. You know what? Let's use the wonderful layer system. Grab all of these stretch bones, and let's move them to the second layer of our bone layers. There we go. They're still there. Don't worry. They're just on another layer. That makes it a lot easier to grab our controllers. So let's grab all of these and attach them to that. Control-P, keep the offset. So now, move that around, it's going to follow. Okay. Okay, now. Okay, in order to make the eyelids follow the eyeball too, we have to do the same thing we did with the eyeball, apply the IK constraint to the eyeball holder. So grab the look at eyeball holder. Oops, it's not a constraint. Well, it is. It's an IK constraint though. So you shift I instead of Alt Control C to active bone. Yes, same thing I did with the eyeball. Give it a chain length of 1, and we don't want the influence to be 100%. We want it to be a very small amount. Say, let's give it 10%, 0.1. So now, grab that. You can see the eyelids are subtly going to follow where the eyeball's looking. Awesome. Okay, now let's add the mesh to the armature. Control P, make parent to armature, and we'll go ahead and create from bone heat. That's usually the best option that I find. Okay, so now if we move that, awesome, look at that. It's following along. Okay. And even though the the stretch bones are not visible. They're still controlling, see? But if you turn them off, you can see the actual mesh a lot easier. So I'll make him still moving. Yeah. There we go. Kind of a glare. Maybe even bring that center one down some. Oh, we're going through the top of the head a little bit too much. That's just due to my modeling. I should have added more more edges along here. It's getting a little late. My brain's losing track of thought. So anyways, so he's looking angry. So now let's you know what? One bone I forgot to give him was a jaw bone. We still centered up? Yes. Oops. Okay. Add a bone. Drag it out. And we're going to attach all of these. You know what? Let's put these lip stretch bones on that second bone layer also. Can you do that? Hit M. That's what brings up the layers palette here. Go ahead and click on that one. I guess M for move to the other layer. Okay, now we're going to grab all of these bottom lip controllers and parent them to the jawbone. Keep the offset. Grab the jawbone, parent it to the head bone. Keep the offset. Go ahead and name it jaw. Okay, so now you move the jaw. It's going to move those bottom lips with it. Okay, so he's got a glare in his eye, so let's give him a scowl on his mouth. So let's close his mouth up and grab these edges of these lip controls. Give him a frown. Look at that. Grab one. It moves more than just that. You know, let's edit the weights a little bit. Looks like it might be off just a tad. Let's grab that. Oh. Actually, I need to turn on the layer that has stretchers in it so I can see what's going on. Weight paint. Grab this. Well, that looks about right. I guess sometimes if you move it too far, it kind of affects too much. But as you can see, using this technique, you can get a lot more fluidity with your face rig than you could if you did not use the stretchy bones. Turn that off, you can see it. And go ahead and set up. I set up a camera and stuff earlier, so let's go ahead and render it out, just see what it looks like. Yeah. Not too shabby. So anyways, that's a little bit more advanced facial rig than you might be used to. So that's it. And thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time.